Hello, welcome back to Statistics and Mathematics Twitter channel. Please, if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, like, share, and comment so that others too will have hand in watching this video, right? So our first question is, in our previous video, we learned something on random variables and variables. So if you haven't watched that video, go and take your time and watch it before you come to this, because you are going to take the concept there to solve these questions, right? So our first question is saying that consider a random variable x with the following probability distributions, right? So what do you think? Is this a discrete random variable or a continuous random variable? You can pause the video and think about it. Okay, this is discrete random variable question, right? So at the end of the day, we have been given x with an individual probabilities, right? So we have been given x with its respective probabilities, and we have been asked to find the expectation of x, variance of x, and standard deviation, right? But before we can find the expectation of x, variance of x, and the standard deviation, one has to know what the d, right? So we learned also in the discrete probability distribution that discrete random variable, that the summation of our pi, right? Summation of our pi is equal to what? 1. So I'm going to just sum the probabilities and then equate it to 1. So once we sum the probabilities and equate it to 1, we get our d to be 0.6, right? Then here we have expectation of x. Our expectation of x, right, is equal to x times the probability, individual probabilities, right? So here we had 18 times 0.2, 20 times d, 22 times 0.2, right? We do that one to find what our expectation of our x. So for expectation of x, this is how you do it. Once we sum and point it on the calculator, we are going to get 20, right? And then the b1 is what? Variance of x, right? The variance of x is equal to expectation of x squared minus expectation of x all squared, right? Already we know our expectation of x. For you to be able to find your expectation of what? S squared, right? You just have to take the random variable here, 18 squared, then you square it, random variable squared times the probability. So 18 squared times 0.2, 20 squared times d, 22 squared times what? 0.2. So once you square and multiply, once you square and multiply it to the respective probability, after that you just add. Once we add, we get 401.6, right? And we already have our expectation of x, right? So we are just going to square it, right? Our expectation of x squared, we are going to get 20 raised to the power 2, right? So variance of x is given by expectation of x squared minus expectation of x, right? So here will be 401.6 minus 20 squared, of which we are going to get 401.6 minus 400. Then we are going to get 1.6, right, as our answer. And then our SD is just square root of what? The variance. And then our variance 2 is 1.6. So square root of 1.6 is giving us 1.264, right? And the random variable x has pdf. F of x is equal to 2x, where x ranges from 0 and 1 and 0 elsewhere. So what do you think? Is this a discrete random variable or a continuous random variable? Okay, this is a continuous random variable, right? So before we can find our expectation of what? X, right? Before we can find the variance of x, one must be able to find our expectation of x squared minus expectation of what? X all squared, using what? Our continuous random variable probabilities, right? Before one can find expectation of x squared, expectation of x squared is equal to integral moving from a to b, x squared times what? The function, right? So here our x was lying between 0 and 1, so that will be our limit, 0 and 1, and then x squared, and then the f of x was given here in the function as what? 2x, right? So times 2s dx, right? So once you multiply this together, I'm going to get integral of integral moving from 0 to 1, 2s cubed dx, right? So this is what you have. Then you just integrate, right? The integral of 2x raised to the power 3 is 2s raised to the power 4 divided by 4. I'm going to get half times what? S raised to the power 4. We're going to move it from 0 to 1, right? When we move it from 0 to 1, when you move it from 0 to 1, you just put 1 here, right? Subtract it from 0, right? And you are going to get what? Half, right? And I'm going to get half. because once you put 0 into this function, everything is going to be 0, right? So we are going to get half. We have to also know how we find our expectation of what x. Our expectation of x2 is just integral from a to b x times what the function, right? So at the end of the day, integral, our limit was 0 and 1. So integral moving from 0 to 1, right? X times what the function f of x, which is 2x, right? So once you have this one, you just multiply together. I'm going to get integral moving from 0 to 1 of what? 2x squared, right? So here, when you find the integral of 2x squared, I'm going to get 2x raised to the power 3 divided by 3, moving from 0 to 1, right? And then you just substitute in 1 and 0. So once you substitute in 1 here, this is how it will be. Just substitute 1 here, subtract it from the lower limit and substitute 0 there, right? So you're going to get 2 divided by 3 as what your answer. But we are not done. The variance of x is given as expectation of x squared minus expectation of x all squared, right? So here our expectation of x squared was given as half, subtracted from expectation of x all squared, which is 2 divided by 3 all squared. So 2 divided by 3 all squared, we are going to get 4 over 9, right? And then just subtract, and we are getting our final answer to be 1 over 18. Then before we continue with that, let me walk you guys through how we are going to expand that one, right? Because when we have, for instance, when we have variance of as plus what b, right? Here you get variance of what? You just expand as plus what variance of what b, right? So if you want the a to move out of what the variance this thing for the variance this thing, here will just be s squared, right? Once the a here, right, moves out of what the variance, it just come out of what squared, right, times variance of what x plus, if our b2 here is what constant, variance of a constant is what 0. So here you get our a squared times what variance of what x, right? So that's the same thing that we are going to use to expand this one, right? So here we have our variance of what 2x plus what 3, and so here we give us variance of what 2x plus variance of what 3. Here, since there is 2 here, our main focus is on what variance of x, right? So since there is 2, we want the 2 to come out of the variance. So here we are going to get 2 raised to the power 2 variance of what x, and here will be 4 variance of what x, right? So at the end of the day, that's how we can what expand. That's how you can expand a given expression when it's being put in the variance equation, right? So at the end of the day, you could see that here we had what variance of what 2x plus what 3, right? So we just expanded one. So we have expanded, and here we have 2 raised to the power 2 variance of what x plus what 3. The variance of the constant is 0, and here will give us 4 times variance of x, right? And then we learned that variance of x2 is giving us 1 divided by what 18, right? So here we are having 4 into brackets 4 times 1 divided by what 18. Here we'll be getting 4 divided by what 18, and then here will give us 2 divided by what 9. So that will be what our final answer, right? That's the same thing that we are going to do for the next testing, right? So here once you expand, our variance of a constant here will be 0 here, and then the negative 3 will come out. You square and you get 9 variance of what x. So 9 times variance of x give us 9 times what 8, 1 over 18. Then we are going to get 1 over 2, right? Yes. So this is our third question, right? This is our third question that we are coming to solve, right? This is our third question that we are coming to solve. So we are saying that a random variable x has the PDF given by f of x. F of x is equal to c times square root of x, where x lies between 0 and 1 and 0 elsewhere. So what do you think? Is this a discrete random variable or a continuous random variable? So here this is what a continuous random variable, right? This is a continuous random variable, and then the first question is saying that find the value of what constant c. There is some c attached to what the square root of x. They are asking us to find it, right? So when we are treating the continuous random variable, we learned that when we sum a function on its limits, right, it must be equal to what? 1, right? So here we are just going to when you integrate a function on its limits, right, it's supposed to be equal to 1. So here I'm going to integrate this function on the limit 0 and 1, right? So once you integrate it on the limit 0 and 1, we will be able to find what? Our c. Just equate it to 1 and find what? Our c. So at the end of the day, you know that square root of x2 is usually given as half, right? So we have c times what? X raised to the power half, right? And then if you really want to integrate, you just add 1 to the exponent and divide it by the whole expression, right? So here we are getting c times half plus 1 divided by half plus 1, right? And then you are going to integrate it on the limit 0 and 1 and equate it to 1, right? So once you do that, we are going to get 2 divided by 3 times c times x raised to the power 3 divided by 2. Integrating it on 0 to 1 and equate it to 1, right? So at the end of the day, this is what you have, right? So you have to just substitute the limit inside, right? So here we have 2 divided by 3, right? C bracket open 1, right? So where the x is, right, we just substitute in our 1 there, right? And then cube root that minus 2 divided by 3 c times 0, that what's here is multiplied by 0, everything here will be equal to 0, and then 1 raised to the power 3 divided by 2 to surely give us what? 1, right? So at the end of the day, we left with 2 divided by 3c is equal to 1. So at the end of the day, we just cross multiply, and then our final answer for the c will give us 3 divided by 2, right? That will be our final answer. So when you are done, you have to substitute the c part to do what? 3 divided by 2 times 1 square root of what? S, where our x lies between what? 0 and 1, right? And our next question is in find the probability that our x is less than 1 over 4, right? You see that we are usually, we are starting from 0, right? We are just starting from the 0. S is starting from 0, right? So we have been asked to find the probability that our x is less than 4, right? So if our x is less than 4, and we knew from the above that x2 is starting from 0, right? So at the end of the day, our limits will be what? Integral of what? 0 to what? 1 over 4, right? Since our x was starting from 0 and we have been asked to find our x less than 1 over 4, right? So this is how our limit will be, as I've done here, and then we just put in your function as 3 divided by 2 square root of what? X dx, right? So once you put in this, you just integrate, right? So if you can really integrate this one well, yes, you are just going to add 1 to what? The half and divide it by half plus 1, right? So when you do that, you are going to get 3 divided by 2. Then here too, you are going to get 3 divided by 2, but already we have 3 divided by 2 here, so this one will cancel that, right? And we are left with x raised to the power 3 divided by 2. Then we are going to integrate it on 0 and 0 to 1 divided by 4, right? So you put in 1 divided by 4 into where the x is here, subtract it from 0, and then once you punch it on the calculator, you are going to get 1 divided by 8. So this is our end. This is the end to our tutorials. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, like, and share. Bye.